Hey guys, so by popular demand I'm making a second review of the Seafrogs underwater housing for the Sony Alpha 6300 and the 6500 and 6000 which all fit into this nifty little housing here. So in a way, this is actually a long-term review. I've had this for about 8 months now, and my estimate would be I've taken it down with me diving, or free diving rather, about 15 times. Alright, and yeah, a lot of you guys also requested a sample video footage that I've taken with this as well, which I'll get to in a few minutes. First of all, yeah, let's get started on the long-term review. So how does it fare after a few dives? I could say it's doing really well. So nothing has broken. Clasp is still really nicely closing, and the buttons are all there. There's no weaknesses or faults in it so far. Everything's working as it should with the dials as well. After 8 months in, so I guess you could say it's not so long, 8 months, but still, yeah, I don't see this failing on me anytime soon. The glass here is pretty well made, so I've been pretty careful about putting the lens hood on as well when I'm not using it and when I'm storing it. No scratches so far. I believe this is a optical grade glass as well. If you check on the website what the front is made of. So yes, the seals are all there as well. No dramas with it so far, and I've been lubricating it basically maybe every 3 dives I've done. And actually one time it was pretty hard to get this one back into the slots, which caused me a bit of panic because I had a dive the next morning. But there is a YouTube video out there which helps you to figure out how to put it back on in case you have trouble putting it back on after taking it out and lubricating it. So yeah, no leakages so far, 8 months in or 15 dives in. Mind you, I will say that I am only free diving and snorkeling on this, so can't say how it performs after, let's say, deep 20 meter, 60 meter dives, scuba dives. So I'll let someone else do a review for that. Before I forget, there is actually something that broke down on me maybe about 2 months ago, which is the moisture sensor. It no longer beeps, although the light is still there. So if I can show you here and put my finger on that, so you'll notice the light is flickering, is switching, but there is no longer that beeping sound that's supposed to be there. So I have to keep an eye on that light when I'm down there with this housing. So I have to write a angry letter to Seafrogs and see why that's conked out on me. Just got to be a little bit more mindful now when I'm taking it down. Just be careful of that light. But I'm still fairly confident in the way of this thing not leaking on me. And like any underwater housing, you just have to be really careful about having no dust or hair or whatever on the O-rings. So it's got double O-rings here, which is a pretty good fail-safe. But yeah, just be mindful of that every single dive you go to. And a couple other things that I've learned since using it a few times is that it is buoyant. It is pretty buoyant in the water. So what I ended up getting is one of these guys, the trays for the housing. And this is actually something from the Seafrogs line as well. I ordered it just about maybe 2 months ago, and it's done well to actually keep it a little bit more neutrally buoyant. And I'll set this up actually because I also have access to a dive light, and I'll show you how that looks like. So here's what my setup looks like now with the tray and the one that I got came with 2 of these ball clamps, and I've got the Sea Life Sea Dragon video light on it, and it's, here we go, let's see if the video picks that up here. So it's quite nifty, and you can adjust this obviously any way you like, what angle you want it at, and it's awesome. So the tray that I got is adjustable, so you can set what length you want the handles to be at, and I actually sometimes take away the right handle altogether, and so I can have easy access to the trigger buttons here and the dials. So, but this, you do want that to have a more stable grip when you're shooting video. So yep, I'm really happy with this tray. So that's, and yeah, and like I said, it just adds that weight to it to keep it all more neutrally buoyant in the water rather than too positively buoyant. So these are all adjustable as well at what position you want the casing to be, the housing to be on the tray. So yep, I was really happy with this purchase. And one other thing before we jump to the sample videos, there's a couple of questions about what type of lenses actually fit into the Seafrogs housing for the Sony Alpha here. And you can look it up on the Seafrogs website. So I've got the 16 to 50 kit lens here, which I used for the videos that you're about to see. So it gives a pretty good flexibility with the fairly wide 16mm angle, and you could zoom into 50. And pretty fast autofocus on that, and you've got the OSS, the stabilization. And recently I got the Sony 35mm f1.8, which I'm using now here to shoot this video. It's a beautiful sharp lens. I'm excited to have that underwater as well next time I go and have a dive. And a few others, so the Sigma 19mm 2.8 and the Sigma 30mm 2.8 will also fit into the housing along with the Samyang 35mm 2.8 FE. But you can jump on the Seafrogs website and get some samples, the list of which lenses fit on this thing. And all right, let's jump to the underwater videos. So this is me in Wilson's Prompt. We're just free diving here. Visibility is so-so. So this is about, say, 3 meters down, 3 to 5 meters down. And all this is just a raw footage of just sliced into the timeline, really. There's no color grading or any fancy editing going on just yet. Now this footage is quite special here. This is when we were down in South Australia at the 8 Mile Creek at the Ewan Ponds, and this is just doing a shallow drift dive down the ponds, down the creek into the ocean. And this is all freshwater. It's beautiful. Visibility was just really great. Now this is down in South Australia still, at the Kilsby Sinkhole, where I did my level 2 freediving certification. So here one of the freedivers is doing a shallow water blackout rescue, and visibility again was beautiful, and this footage here just doesn't do it justice, really. But maybe after a little bit more color grading and editing, post-production, I'll give you a better picture quality than what I've got here. I'm just a little bit too lazy at the moment to get this edited properly. I'll flick through some photos now just to show you what kind of images you can take with the Sony 6300, and coupled with the lens that I've got here, the kit lens 16 to 50 millimeters, and I'll let you judge for yourself. I'm not the best photographer, underwater photographer, but just give you a glimpse of what it's capable of. And there you have it. That's the footage and photos that I've got so far. Hopefully you'll find this useful. Leave a like if you did find this useful, and post any comments or questions in the comment section. Have a good one.